to all my lovely Stitchy friends. Today is Tuesday, June 18th, 2024, and this is Flosstube number 16. My name is Andrew, and this is the Runner Stitcher, my channel primarily about cross stitch, but also a little bit about my running journey. So if you're new here, you just stumbled upon the channel, welcome. Everybody's welcome. I hope you enjoy the updates on all of the projects that I have with cross stitch. I've just been diving right into this hobby for the past year, and I'm loving it so much. So I love getting to share this with all of you and kind of talk stitchy things every couple of weeks. It's awesome. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back for more, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. There's so many good floss tubes, and I feel like every week there's another new one that I'm like, oh, this is a good channel I want to watch. So my list of YouTube videos to watch is just getting longer and longer because of Flosstube, which is amazing because that means there's even more of us to connect with and share with. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to sit with me for a little bit. I hope you've got maybe a beverage of your choice, maybe some stitching that you can get done while we chat, and yeah, we'll jump right into it. So I wanted to start off just a little bit with my running journey. I've been mentioning again and again that I've got the Chicago Marathon coming up in October, and so marathon training has officially started for that. Last week was the first week. So these first couple weeks are on the easier side. Since I've been running longer anyway, or since I've been running for a while anyway, the training isn't so bad. It's kind of like a normal week for the first 2 or 3 weeks. But it is kind of forcing myself to stick to the program and get out there and do the miles I need to each day. So yeah, just really enjoying being back on a schedule with that. This past weekend, which by the way was a beautiful weekend in New York. This type of summer weekend doesn't happen often. So when we get it, I love to take advantage of every moment I can, but all weekend it was sunny. It was in the mid to upper 70s, no humidity, no bugs. It was just so pleasant. There was a nice breeze all weekend. It was kind of a cooler breeze. Anyway, I had a race on Saturday morning. It was the New York Roadrunners Citizens Queens 10K, so 6.2 miles, and the weather couldn't have been any lovelier. It was just beautiful. I really enjoyed the race. My goal was to finish in under 50 minutes, and I didn't make that. But I only missed it by 6 seconds. My official time was 50 minutes and 6 seconds. So I saw that and I was like, oh my goodness, if I had just pushed a little bit harder at the end, I could have easily made it. Also, I did have to stop along the course to use the restroom, which never happens to me. So if I hadn't had to do that, of course I would have been under 50, but it's all good. I just thought it was funny that I missed it by 6 seconds. And that time, my place was 3,146th out of 12,098. So I think in the top 25%, which I'm pretty happy with, pretty good. So it was just a lovely day and I really enjoyed it. I got to see a couple of my friends who were running it as well, and my friend Alyssa and I ran it together. So it was just a really lovely time. We had a really good time, and we did get a medal, so I brought that along to share with you today. The theme for the race this year was green, or the color theme. So here is the Citizens Queens 10K medal. It's pretty cute. I really like it. There is a spot on the back that I can get it engraved if I want to put my time and my name on the back. Not sure if I'll do that or not for this one, but yeah, it was pretty good. This was the first year also that they had a pretty large kind of festival afterwards. Typically this race, it just ends and there's not much afterwards, but because Citizens was sponsoring it this year, they had like a stage with live music going. They were handing out popsicles. They had like a creme brulee croissant pastry that they were handing out afterwards. These delicious pie crust cookies that I love from the spot called Janie's in New York. They're so good. So just lots of like free stuff afterwards, and it felt very festive, especially since the weather was so nice. So that made the race even more of like a fun event rather than just a run that you're doing. So that was really cool. And then the rest of the weekend, we spent a lot of time outside. I took Winston for a long walk Saturday afternoon because he was just loving the weather. And then my boyfriend and I just bought a pizza and grabbed a bottle of wine and took it down to the river that's close to our house, close to our apartment, and just sat along the river for like 3.5, 4 hours because it was just so pleasant. We watched the sunset over Jersey, and yeah, just really nice. So I'm really grateful for just an absolutely lovely summer weekend, and I hope you guys got some great summer weather too. It feels like summer is officially here now, so we can move on to the next season. But yeah, hope you're enjoying the season as well. I do have 2 other races coming up. I've got a 4-miler this weekend in Central Park, and then the following weekend I have the Pride Run, which is also a 4-mile run, and that's also in Central Park. So 2 races coming up. There's kind of 3 back-to-back here, and then I think the next race I have is maybe August or September. So got a little bit of a break with racing, but that's because marathon training will be in full force. So anyway, that's a little bit about my running journey and just a little bit of an life update on what's going on with me. Yeah, so the next little section I wanted to talk about was just a few shout outs, a few Flosstubers that I've been watching and either haven't shouted out before or have, but still am watching them. So the first one is Jen at Jen's Fiberweb, and she has just been so much fun to watch her Flosstubes, and I've also just been able to connect with her a lot on Instagram, and we've been chatting back and forth about a couple different things, and she just has so many lovely projects. It's really great. And the reason I'm calling her out now is because she just did a whip parade not too long ago, and it was fun to see her process of, she was kind of going through her whips to decide what would be a focus piece that maybe she could try to finish by the end of the year, and what would be on a pile that is not finishable by the end of the year. So it was fun to just kind of see all of her projects and watch her pick her priorities for the rest of the year. So definitely go check her out. Jen, thank you so much for sharing your art and your channel with us. It's really great. I've been enjoying it. So along the same lines of whip parades, Allison and Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe, they just put out a whip parade, and it's only part 1. They have so many whips that it's cut into 2 parts. But I just love their channel so much. Those girls are great. They have so many projects because there's 2 of them, so you get to see double the projects each Flosstube episode, and the whip parade did not disappoint. I'm definitely looking forward to the second half as well. I will be tuned in for that when it releases. But yeah, definitely go check out Cross Stitch the Globe. Allison and Stephanie, thank you so much for sharing your art and all of the videos that you do for the cross stitch community. They have a lot of like tutorial videos that are helpful for beginners or new cross stitchers, and even for me they're kind of fun to watch sometimes. Just I'll pick up little things that I didn't know before and just kind of be refreshed about the basics of cross stitch and remember how I started. So thank you girls so much for your channel and sharing it with us. The final Flosstuber I want to call out is Lori. She goes by the Sharky Stitcher here on Flosstube, and I found her channel, it was probably a couple months ago, and I've been kind of watching as she's been releasing videos, but her work is stunning. She does so many chatelaines, and she just released an episode that was only focused on chatelaines. She kind of shared some of the projects she's currently working on. She shared what she has kitted up. She shared some of the patterns that she has, and it's just beautiful. I definitely have goals to do a chatelaine one day, and I'm kind of watching her channel for every tip and tidbit of information that I can get, because it's so helpful. She shares everything, kind of where she gets the kits, where she buys the fabric, and you know when sales might be happening that you can look out for. She also gives like advice on stitching them, and it's just really helpful. So, and her work is absolutely beautiful. So definitely go check her out. Lori, thank you so much for sharing your art, and I hope people go check out your channel as well. I think that's all of the sort of housekeeping things, I guess, at the beginning. We're almost, 9 minutes in, and there's been no cross-stitching. So let's jump into what I've got for cross-stitch. So I actually have a lot of whips this week, or from the past 2 weeks. So you'll be seeing a lot of things, which is kind of fun. But the one I'm going to start with is a SAF, which is actually a start and finish. So I started it the day of my last video, I think, because I started it on June 4th. Maybe that was the day after. No, I think that was the day of my video. I think I finished filming my video, and then the project I worked on that day was this one. So I started it on June 4th, and I finished it 2 days later on June 6th. And what I'm talking about is Lola Crow's Creepy Christmas Village Sal, and this is the Creepy Christmas Tree. And here is my finish. Aren't those birds just amazing? I'm just amazed, like the way that she uses backstitch in the wings and to kind of outline the birds and give them their beaks. It just looks amazing. Like, it gives so much definition to those birds and their wings and their feathers. It's brilliant. And it was really easy to follow the pattern as well. I thought, oh great, these birds are going to be tough, but they weren't. They were just, you just follow the pattern and it comes out perfectly. So yeah, I just thought this was really cute. The only thing I did differently for this one is, again, I subbed out beads for, these were supposed to be just white cross stitches, but I put beads instead. And this time, so I'll show you the other two I have completed. I've got 3 of the 6 ornaments done now. So here's the 3 I have done. And the beads that I was using for these 2 were leftover beads from a Mill Hill kit that I had. So they are smaller, they're kind of like petite beads. And when I went to do this one, I realized I don't think I'm going to have enough to do all of these ornaments with the leftover Mill Hill beads. So I went through my stash, and my roommate and his mom had given me kind of like just a stash of odds and end beads. And in there were some clear beads, and that's what I actually used for this one. So I don't know if you can see, but they are a little bit small, or a little bit larger than the other ones. You can probably see it a little bit when it pulls back. They're just slightly larger, which I'm totally okay with, and they worked perfectly. So I'm not complaining, but it'll be nice because I think I'm going to do a 4th one. I'll probably do the 4th one over here in this section here. And I don't know if I'll do all 6 or not. There's definitely 4 that I love and kind of really fit all together in as one sort of collection. The other 2 I'm kind of on the fence about, so I might just leave it at the 4. But yeah, this was my WIPGO call. It was WIPGO number 2, so it was a WIPGO for June, and my goal was to finish it. So I did, and I did it pretty quickly. There were only 1,050 stitches in this. So really not a big piece, and just a lot of fun. The way, yeah, again, the way she uses color in this piece is just beautiful. The different shades in the tree, and then when you add the back stitching to the skulls, everything just really pops, and the garland, and yeah, everything really looks great. So this was a lot of fun. I don't know when I'll get to the 4th one, so I don't have any more on my WIPGO for this year. I think I did the haunted house as a WIPGO call at some point this year, and now I have the Christmas tree. So I don't have the 4th one on WIPGO for this year, so I don't know if I'll get to it this year or not. In the back of my mind, I kind of would like to finish the 4th one before Christmas this year so that I can hang them all up and have them on my tree, but I don't know if that'll happen or not. If it doesn't, I will probably put it on my WIPGO for 1 month next year, and then I'll have the 4th one complete. So that is my first start and finish, Creepy Christmas Tree by Lola Crow. It felt good to kind of be stitching on it because everyone else is stitching on Lola Crow's newest Deadly Aquarium Sal, which I love, and I want to do it someday. I just am not keeping up with the Sal, but it felt good to be stitching on a Lola Crow piece while everyone else was stitching on theirs, even if mine was different and Christmassy. So, okay, so the next project I've got is a finish for now. So it's kind of a finish, but not really. This is Mermaids of the Season Sal by Bella Filipina. And the last time I spoke with you and the last time you saw it, which you'll see in the picture, is I had finished all of the stitching for this piece and just needed to do the beading. I'm trying to do each mermaid in their season. So I was working on the spring mermaid, and my goal really was to finish it by the time summer officially started. So I'm happy to say now that I have finished the beading. So here is my finish. Oops, let me pull her down a little bit. Here she is with all of her beads. She looks really good. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can kind of see. I hope that's coming through okay. she's got a lot of beads. I think total there were 240 beads. And yeah, I think the whole mermaid was about 2,700 stitches total. So really not that large of a piece, but really just beautiful. Honestly, I loved it. And I wasn't sure about the beading. I said last time I needed to kind of have a block of time to get it done. And I was able to really designate 2 large chunks of time to the beading. And I found that I finished it in those 2 chunks of time, which was great. The tutorial by Erica, Fibers and Floss Canada, really helped me because this is the first time I actually used invisible thread. When I was at a needlepoint store here in New York City last week called Annie's, they had this at the front desk, and it's called, I don't know if you can see this, it's called Gutermann invisible thread. And so I snatched it up, and that's what I stitched this with, and it went really well. Like, you have to kind of get used to it for sure, and I was using a beading needle, but once I got the hang of it, it went pretty quickly, and I realized the length of floss that I needed, which is not as long as a normal floss, but yeah, it went really, really smoothly. I was very happy. And yeah, it was so fun. I think beading just added such a fun element to it because you were able to see all the spaces fill in, you know, like these were empty spots before, and then once they started getting filled in, you just saw the whole piece kind of come together. So really fun. This is stitched on a 28 count Lugana from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. I think it might be called Spring Rain. I put all the information in the little title slide beforehand, but I think that's what it's called. The true color is maybe a little bit more like this. It's definitely more blue than what is showing up on camera. But yeah, so Spring Mermaid is now complete, and I realized on my calendar that summer is starting in 2 days. So I finished it just in the nick of time, but so for June 20th on Thursday, I will be starting the Summer Mermaid, and I'm going to designate that day to at least get her started. So you can see here I have my needle and a thread. I think I actually put 1 stitch in there for her hair because I was trying to figure out, since I'm kind of laying out how this is put together, I had to figure out like where to start the mermaid over here so that they would look even. So I hope I did that right. Yeah, we'll see. But eventually all 4 will be on this piece, and I'm excited. So I will keep stitching on Summer Mermaid throughout the summer season until we officially hit fall. Hopefully I will finish it by then, and then when autumn comes around, I'll switch to the next one. So you'll keep seeing that throughout the season, but that is a finish for now, and I'll pick it back up and start the summer one. And I think I forgot to say, but the Lola Crow ornament, that was stitched on a 16 count Elephant Run Ada by Fox and Rabbit. So, okay, so those are the only 2 finish for nows that I have. So let's roll into my whips, which are my works in progress. The first one I've got is Strawberries Forever. This is from Told in a Garden, and I'm using a paper pattern on this, so I don't have the statistics. So I don't know how many stitches I did. It wasn't that many since the last time you've seen it, but I did get a chance to work on it. So I'm stitching this for Marjorie Maid's Strawberry Moonsal for the month of June, and this is also in my 5-4-3 rotation. This is my 3-day rotation for the month, so I've only put 1 day into this so far, so 2 more days are coming on this project, which should give it some good project work as well. But here is what I've got so far. So I've put in some of the fence behind the little Amish lady, and I think I got most of I think I have 1 more fence post to go over here. And I finished all of these little strawberry baskets here, which are full of strawberries because she's already picked them. And then here you can see she's holding a strawberry basket, and there's 1 little strawberry in there because she's actively working at picking the strawberries. And then on this side of her, all these baskets will be empty. I think I have 4 or 5 more to go on that side, because these are the ones she has not picked yet. So, and then in between the fence and the strawberries here will be the strawberry vines. And I think I forgot to pull the picture, so sorry I don't have the picture in front of me. I'll try to maybe pop a picture up here of the final design, but this is just so cute. I switched it to a scroll frame so that I wouldn't have to move my nerd tube each time, and I could just kind of scroll through how I want to do it, which I'm really liking. So that will make it a little bit easier to work on each time. And I just love the little motifs. I finished the lady, and I think she's so super cute. And the only thing I'm not sure about is the fence. Like, I don't know if it's how my fabric is being pulled on this scroll frame, but the fence looks a little like wavy, you know, it's not straight, which I would have liked. And I double checked and triple checked, and it is the right holes. Like, I'm not a stitch up or a stitch down. It's even in line. It's just the holes kind of go up and down. So even a little bit with these strawberry baskets, you can kind of see they wave a little bit. So I'm hoping that maybe in the end, once it gets like really stretched and pulled out, it will even out. But if anyone has any tips for that, or if you've seen it before and know like what causes it, let me know, because I'd be curious. But this is just a super cute piece. Reminds me of my home in Pennsylvania where I grew up, and yeah, excited to put 2 more days on this month and hopefully get some good progress. So that is Strawberries Forever from Told in the Garden. Put it on this side. I've got so much stuff around me, but okay. Next up, we've got the Slumber Party Sal from Sewing Starfish, and this was a sal that my goal was to keep up with it. I was like, oh, I'll easily be able to get the motifs done. No, I'm just so far behind, and that's okay. I have come to terms with it, and I realize I'll finish this on my own time, but it was fun to pull it back out. So you saw where it was last time. I only added 146 stitches. I pulled it out for one evening. We were stitching actually outside because it was so beautiful, and the lighting was obviously natural light is perfect for stitching on black Aida. So I grabbed this project, took it outside, and stitched for a while and got 146 stitches in. So still way far behind, but I was working on this motif here, and the last time you saw it, I think the mirror had not been completed. I think I only had like a little part of the mirror done, and so now the entire mirror is finished in this part. I just have to finish the frame here, and then there's a whole big dresser that it's sitting on here. So that is where it's at so far. So not a big update, but every little bit counts, right? I am still really enjoying it, and I do want to get back to it. Some of the motifs that have been released since then are super, super cute, and I'm excited to get to. I just am so far behind that I've given up trying to keep up. There was like a rest week, and I thought, oh, maybe this week I can get caught up, and then no, my attention just went other places, and this did not get worked on. So this is stitched on I think a 20 count black Aida, and all the called for colors, DMC. So that is the Slumber Party Sal. Next, we've got another sal that I did not keep up with. If you're seeing a trend here, the Christmas ornaments were a sal that I did not keep up with. The Slumber Party is a sal I did not keep up with. This next piece is a sal I did not keep up with. I think the only one I was able to was the Odyssey sal from Quaternion Creations. So anyway, that's okay. We just have fun doing it and stitching along with everybody. So the next piece is the Pixel Dragon Adventure Sal from FlossyFox Shop. You've seen this time and time and again because it is my daily weekday thread. This week I managed to put in an additional 728 stitches. I think talking about it on my last video, I kind of got re-energized to work on it again, which was nice. And yeah, I'm stitching this for the Year of the Dragon Sal from Erica Fibers and Floss Canada and Samantha the Higa Stitcher. And here's where I am now. So last time I had finished the Sea Dragon and the map here, and I had started working on some of these eggs here. So I've finished these 2 eggs here. I finished these 2 eggs here. This cute little chick, which I love. It's like a mirror chick to this one up here. They're so cute. And then I also finished this bat dragon. So this bat is sitting on a tree, and that's why there's like a tree leaf here, but it's at the very, very top of the tree. And yeah, the bat dragon is super cute. So yeah, really enjoying this. This is stitched on a 28 count green apple even weave, and it's a printed fabric. That's why there's white on the back here. And I'm stitching it 1/1, so they're super tiny, which I'm loving. I'm not quite sure if it's all going to fit in this nerd troop. It's going to be close over here. I think I've got 2 more motifs here, and then I'll reach the end. So it'll be close, but we'll see. I think my next goal is there's a big red dragon, red and pink right here. I think I'm going to work on that next to sort of conquer my next dragon. But yeah, this was really fun, and I'm glad I saw the progress. So this one is now at 67.57%. So a little bit each week, a little bit every 2 weeks, it gets me closer and closer to the finish. So we'll keep pulling this out and keep working on it. But that is Pixel Dragon Adventure update. Okay, the next piece is SAGA from Long Dog Samplers. I feel like everyone has trouble saying that word. Or that company. Anyway, this was my leap day start for this year, so my goal is to finish it by leap day of 2028. And this time around, I put in 1,104 stitches, so that puts me at 9.22%. I think next time you see me, I will be at the 10% mark, which is really, really exciting. So I wanted to read you the story this week that goes along with the arch that I'm stitching. I didn't the last time because, well, you'll see today. So this story this week is called The Charity Walk. And it says, even hairy, disreputable lurchers can have a social conscience. And Spliff, the deerhound/greyhound cross, has decided to walk the Norfolk coastal path to raise funds for his favorite charity, who saved his dame, Flame, from a life of misery at the Norfolk Greyhound Rescue. Because Spliff's thinking of others and not himself, which is commendable, he's been given an extra window or arch to help support him and his cause. So that's why he gets 2. Spliff's route runs for 84 miles along the east coast of England from sunny Hunstanton to Hopton-on-Sea, passing seaside towns and villages, tidal meadows, windswept sandy beaches, pine woodlands, the occasional windmill or lighthouse, and plenty of pubs for the odd bite to eat or to lay your head for the night. Happy landing, Spliff. We're all very proud of you. So that's the story. I'll show you, this is the pattern here, and not the pattern, the design. So these 2 arches are what I'm working on here. So this whole section here is his charity walk that he's walking along all these houses. Here's the little windmill, and here is cute little Spliff, the greyhound deerhound mix, right here doing his charity walk. He walks past all these boats and seasides and the woodland area with the flowers. So that's the double section that I'm working on. So enough about the stories. Let me let me show you where I'm at. Okay. Sorry, I have to unravel this all. It's such a big piece of fabric. Okay, so last time you saw me, I think I'd finished most of this arch here, except I had some of these houses left to complete. So this arch is now fully done. I also I think I brought this all the way down last time maybe. So this time I worked on the arch next to it and got all of the arch completed up here. I got these little flower motifs done here. I added these 3 birds, and then I started sort of the seaside towns here that will go across. And I think the windmill is here, so that will be next time. So I didn't quite finish both of these arches, so you'll see next time my progress. I hope to have this one done as well. But next time I will add Spliff. I think he'll go right in here. So yeah, this is SAGA by Long Dog Samplers. Really loving it still. I'm stitching this on a 36 count vintage country mocha with Silks For You PR 207, 1 strand over 2 threads. So really fun. I have nothing but good things to say. I just am really enjoying it. Every time I get to pull it out, I usually pull it out on Thursdays and just kind of stitch on it all day that day, and it's really lovely. So once this arch is done, you'll see I only have 2 more, and then the whole top row will be completed, which is a lot of fun, and we'll get to jump down into sort of the bigger arches. But here is what it looks like so far. So cool. I'm really happy with it. Every time I pull it back and like get to look at everything again, it's super exciting. So yeah, that's the little story for the charity walk for this little section, which I love. Okay, let me just roll this back up. I think I've mentioned this before, but I've been stitching this in hand, and the fabric is very flimsy and it is very big, so it becomes a little cumbersome to stitch in hand, but I'm finding my way with it, and I don't hate it. I don't think I'll want to stitch in hand for everything, because I also really love stitching on my scroll frames, but it's a nice sort of change in the way I stitch and kind of makes it feel like a brand new project. So that SAGA. Okay. Now, the next 2, I feel like I'm a little behind. Everyone else did Mirabilia May, and I seem to have done Mirabilia June for some reason. But the next 2 pieces I've worked on took up a big chunk of my stitching time. The reason is, again, I have my 5-4-3 rotation, and they were in that rotation. So the first one I'm going to show you is Lily of the Woods. So you saw her update last time, and she was my 5 days for June. So I have completed 4 out of the 5 days on her for this month, and I was actually able to add 1,520 stitches. So I'm super pumped about that. I am now at 65.52%, which is awesome. And are you ready? Here is her update. So let me just zoom in a little bit so you can see her, or at least the part that I worked on. So I think last time you saw her, she had her 1 Kreinik wing here, and that was it. This part was all done as well. So this time I was working on her other wings. So I finished this wing here, which is basically, again, all Kreinik. I think the sparkle is coming through a little bit on the camera, but in person it looks amazing because it's like all Kreinik. It's that yellow and blue, and yeah, just beautiful. Even this section here is a blend of one of the Kreiniks and a DMC thread, so it still has a little bit of sparkle and a little less than the other ones, but yeah, really beautiful. So then I did these sort of like little puffs that are on her wings, and this wing here is going to be her next big wing, and it's basically all backstitch. So I did all of the stitching in this top wing, which all of this is Kreinik as well, that is stitched in here. And then what I have to do to connect it all is the back stitching. And let me actually grab the stuff here. Hold on one second. Okay, thank you for waiting. I just wanted to show you the pattern real quick so you could kind of see what I'm talking about. But these wings here are what are backstitched and what I have left to do. Hopefully you can see that pretty well. But I filled in all of the little Kreinik parts here, but I just have to do the backstitching. The backstitching is called for with a 3031 DMC, which I believe is like a dark brown color. I think maybe it's the same as like one of these browns in here. However, these wings are backstitched with the Kreinik, this like dark red kind of Kreinik. So I'm wondering, should I switch these wings to be backstitched with Kreinik as well with the red? It might be a lot, like it might really kind of stand out, maybe too much. Maybe it won't look as like as like see-through her wing as it does in the picture. I'm not sure. So if you have any thoughts on that, the called for is the brown for the backstitching in the wing to make it look like its wing, but I was debating maybe switching it to the red Kreinik to add a little sparkle. I think if I did that, I would have to buy another spool of Kreinik because the red is kind of running low, and I'm not sure I'd have enough to do all that backstitch because both of these wings here, all of this backstitch is done in Kreinik. And then you've got the stitches up here, and you've got these stitches. There's another one of these little dots down here that will go in Kreinik. But yeah, anyway, that's for me to decide in my next time stitching her. But I think, well, I have one more day planned on her for this month, and that's the day I'll work on the back stitching for this wing. So hopefully the next time you see her, at least this wing will be done. Maybe I won't have a lot of other stitches done, but at least all the back stitching on this upper wing will be finished. And then I'll start working on this lower wing, which is more of the same. But I also wanted to call out, in this little section here, you can see this pink cry neck. It is so beautiful. Let me just show you the spool. Hopefully this comes across in the picture or in the video. Look how pretty that is. It is just so pink and sparkly. I've had it in the bag for a while, but I kind of forgot it was in this piece. And when it was called for me to stitch it, I was like, oh my goodness, I finally get to use this sparkly pink cry neck. And then I saw that there's only like maybe 50 stitches in the whole pattern in that cry neck. And it's just these little like centers of this dot here. So, but it was really fun to stitch with. And if you ever get to work with, this is cry neck 024 is the number. So if you ever get to stitch with this, you're in for a treat. It was really fun. I've been enjoying stitching with the cry neck. It doesn't really bother me that much, but so yeah, now basically from here up, she's complete. I'll have these two wings to kind of fill in and do the back stitching. And then the tree branches that come across over here, there's a little bit more of these blossoms on this side as well. And then she'll be ready to move the scroll frame and start working on the bottom of her dress. So she's coming right along. I feel like I'm very close to a finish, even though I'm only at 65%. There's still like 6,000 stitches to do, I think, but it feels like she's close to a finish because you can see so much of her and so much is done already. But I did have one other question for you guys. Those of you who use scroll frames, when I go to scroll this up and the fabric kind of like sits, well, the stitches sit on the fabric itself, do you put anything in here to kind of protect the stitches before you scroll it up like that? Or do you not worry about it and just roll it up? I have some felt. I wasn't sure if that would work. My only hesitation was, you know, the cry neck can be kind of like scratchy or pulley, and I was wondering if it would kind of maybe get caught in the fabric itself if I just rolled it up in that. I don't know if I'm making sense, but if you have any tips or any thoughts, let me know. Yeah, this is Lily of the Woods by Mirabilia. She's stitched on a 32 count evergreen by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, and all the called for threads 2/2. That's my update on her. Okay, and my final whip, only one more to go, is The Kiss by Mirabilia. So this was for my 5-4-3 rotation. This was number 4, so it got 4 days in June, and I actually managed to finish all 4 days already. I was stitching this a couple of days last week, and then Yoshi and I had a little stitchy session on Sunday, and I was working on her during that as well. So got a good amount of stitches in her. We are now at I added 1,529 stitches, which puts me at 12.35%. So I realized when I started stitching on this and went back to it that I have not pulled this out since February. So I started it one day in January. I only worked on it that one day. Then I worked on it a lot in February for Valentine's Day month. And then I haven't picked it up since. It felt like I had stitched on it more recently, but I hadn't. So 1,529 stitches got me here. And this is really hard to see. Let me put this behind so you can see a little bit better. Because everything, it's a really light, it's called Apple Blossom Witchell 32 count linen. This is more of the true color. It's like this really pale pink, almost a little peachy, but more pink. As soon as I bring it forward, it just gets totally washed out. So think of this is the true colors. Last time you saw it, I had been working on the dress here, and this time I added some of these darker colors. So these are a lot of the shading that takes place in the dress, that it kind of folds down. And I also worked a little bit more on the dress going up here, which was good. Still a lot of holes in the dress, and the reason for that is there are so many beads in her dress. So a lot of those holes that are in there will not get filled until the very end, which is crazy. But yeah, it's really fun to actually kind of see her dress taking shape now. And yeah, this is a big piece because I think this is like double the size of Lilly, but it's because from like here on up is full coverage, the whole thing. So what my plan is for this is I'm going to be working up so that I can get to the top of the piece and then work my way down with all the stitches and back stitching, and then I'll come back and do all the beads top down. So in order to do that, I've been working on the dress to go up, but I thought I'm going to work my way over to the border. I got to this point where there was just an easy one line of one color over to the border, and then this border goes around the entire piece. This border is so beautiful to me and is so much fun to stitch. So this is a brown DMC, I can't remember the number, and then the alternating stitch is with a gold Krynic. And at first I was really like, oh, this is gonna be so tedious to like do this whole border with this back and forth of one stitch each. But I basically just put 2 needles on my threads, like one on the gold and one on the brown, and just kind of worked it and held the needle to the side as I was working the other one. And it actually went pretty quickly. I got into a rhythm and I was like, this is actually really fun. And something about these colors and this, it like adds a little bit of shine to the border, but it's still just the brown and gold. It's just, I love it. It's beautiful. So as I continue working up the dress here, I am going to work the border all the way up to the top and then at least have that as a frame, and then I'll work my way back down. I think right in here is where her skin starts. So yeah, with Lily of the Woods, I did the skin 1/1. I think that's what I'm going to do again for this one. And I remember with her that I couldn't do all of the skin at once. I like to have a little bit of skin and then work on something else. So now that I'm reaching the skin, I can kind of start it and then work around it and work up, and then come back to the skin whenever I want to put some stitches in 1/1. But yeah, this is my update on The Kiss by Mirabilia. In the back of my mind, my goal is to still have like a Mirabilia piece at every like kind of 1/4%. So I'd like to have one in the 0 to 25, one in 25 to 50, one in 50 to 75, and one in 75 to 100. And then as I reach the tiers, then I can bring in a new one at the lower tier. So Lily's now at 65%. She's almost at 75%, which means The Kiss, which is my second one, could be brought up all the way to 50 pretty soon. And that's going to be a lot of stitches. So I need to put some work into her so I can get her moving. She's at 12.35% now, which basically means I have to double it to even be able to start a new Mira, because I'd like to get this at 25% before I bring in a new one. But I've got a bunch sitting in the wings that I want to work on. So that's just me and my like neuroses, I guess, or how I like to organize my stitching. But yeah, I kind of like having those tiers, and then each project that I start kind of gets finished in the same order that I'm starting it. So this one will be tougher because there's more stitches and it'll be a lot to get her through the pipeline, but it's been a really fun stitch. I'm enjoying it and just gonna keep working on it. So I think I'll probably pull this out again for July and give it some more loving. But yeah, that's where I am there. And those are all the whips I've got this time. So a lot of good stitching. I've really been enjoying my projects, and maybe I'm a little late for Mira, but at least I got it done. At least I got it in June. Okay, so let's jump into plans. So for the rest of the month, my Whip Go Call, the first one, obviously, you know, because you've seen, is finished. That was the Christmas Village, creepy Christmas tree. So that's done. My next Whip Go Call was, I've got it here somewhere. Hold on one second. Okay, was the Mill Hill Kit Squirrely. I think I showed this last time. This was for Whip Go number 25, I believe, and my goal is to finish this kit. So it's got everything, the beads, the perforated paper, everything I need right here. I hadn't started this yet, partially because I was waiting. I had ordered, which everybody seems to be talking about these. I had ordered one of these magnetic frames for when stitching mill hills, and I wasn't sure if it was going to come in time or not because the shipping said it would take like 4 to 8 weeks, but it came this past weekend. So now I have no reason but to start squirrely, and yeah, I'm excited to try this out. I really like it. These magnets are very strong. So just a word of advice, don't get your fingers trapped in there when you're putting your piece on, because the first time I pulled it apart and then kind of like snapped it back together, the skin of my finger got caught in here and it hurt like crazy because these are very strong magnets. But I think it will definitely make it easier to stitch on this, so I'm excited to try it. I will link the Etsy shop down below where I got it, but I think it's the one that everybody's been using because they all kind of look like this. And I was watching Beck Stitches Everything, her latest video, and she was mentioning she used one of these for the first time because she's really been into all the Mill Hill kits, and she was saying it made it hard to end your thread. And I hadn't even thought about that, but I can see how that would happen. If your perforated paper is here, it's kind of like having the Q-snap not stitching in the well in a Q-snap, and so your needle will be running against the wood, which will make it very hard. And like her, I often bent the paper a little bit to kind of end my needle under the other threads. You can't bend it in this. So that'll be interesting to kind of try and give a shot. But yeah, I'm excited to try it. So now I've got all the equipment I need and I will start this. So that's my plans for the rest of June, is to get this done to complete the whip go call. And then I've talked about my 5-4-3 rotation, but 5 days this month was Lily of the Woods. She gets one more. 4 days this month was the Kiss, and that is completed. And then 3 days were Strawberries Forever, and that still needs 2 more days. So Strawberries Forever and Lily will be worked on till my next video. I already mentioned I'm going to start the Summer Mermaid on June 20th, which is the first day of summer officially. So that'll be on my plans. And yeah, we'll see how long the Mill Hill kit takes me, and hopefully I'll have a couple other days just to kind of pull out whatever I want. I might pull out Slumber Party again, or maybe Pancakes, but kind of just leave it open and see what I'm feeling that day, which is kind of nice to have a little freedom in your schedule. Yeah, and those are kind of all the plans I've got. Till next time, I'll know my whip go numbers for July, so I'll share what the plan is for July. But at this point, I don't really know. I am thinking about one new start in July that has to do with Christmas in July. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted on that. I'll let you know in the next video if I end up doing it or not, but just kind of thinking about one thing. So let's jump into haul. So if you don't like haul, if you don't want to be enabled, I totally get it. Thank you for watching up to this point. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to just show a couple of things that I've got since the last time we spoke. I actually don't have too much. Part of it was the Mill Hill frame that I got. Another part was the invisible thread that I needed to try for the beading. And then I just thought these were so cute. I saw these on a D-Stash group on Facebook. They are little candy corn and pumpkin charms. And they've got the holes in so that you can kind of stitch them onto your piece. So I don't know what I will use these for yet, but definitely like a Halloween or kind of fall piece. But candy corn is my favorite Halloween candy. It might be my favorite candy just in general. So when I saw these, I was like, I have to have these. These are so cute. So very excited about these little charms, but got those. And then, okay, let me show you a couple patterns. So the first one I got is from Stitch World X Stitch, and it's called Victorian Station. And it is a full coverage piece, but I just thought this was so beautiful. It's the style of this piece was something I hadn't seen before. I love the way these clouds are done up here. It's kind of, I don't know what the word is. It's kind of like a comic book almost, or like an animated scene with the train coming in and the mountains, but I just loved it. So yeah, eventually I'll get to this. Just thought it was really, really cool and definitely unique from something I hadn't seen before. Then, you know me, I find one thing I like, and then suddenly that thing leads me to 500 other things. And this time I discovered the designer Black Swan Designs, I think I actually had a piece of theirs earlier, but anyway, I just rediscovered them. And so the first one that I found that I purchased was called Magnolia. And this is her on the swing. Isn't that just beautiful? Her dress is like the magnolia flower, and look at how big her hair is. I just love it. It's giving me like, I don't know, Southern Decadence kind of vibes. And I love that she's on this flower swing and the arch above her. She's just beautiful. So I saw her and thought, I have to have her. She will definitely go in my Fancy Lady rotation at some point, and yeah, I need to stitch her. So that's kind of what started it all. And then I was like, I wonder what else Black Swan has. Well, they've got some fun ones. So I didn't buy all of them by any means, but you can find these kind of on, I was getting these on eBay. I'm not sure if they have digital patterns or not of these, but I was kind of finding them on eBay. They're not too expensive and you can find people selling them, but the second one I got was Lily Pond Dreams, another sort of fairy floral scene that I just thought was beautiful. Another beautiful arch with all those flowers. I may hate myself because they look like the blossoms in Lily, which I did not enjoy the first time around, but just thought she was beautiful. So another Black Swan. And then this one probably is my favorite. This is called Merrick, and it's also called Wizard of the Sea. So I'm not sure which name it actually is, but here is the Wizard of the Sea. How fun is he? Look at this. He's got like his pet dolphin right here that's just jumping into his arms. These cute little fishies, all this coral here at the bottom. Just so fun. So really excited to stitch him up at some point. But yeah, so Black Swan Designs. I had not heard of them before, or if I did, I kind of forgot. And it was fun to kind of rediscover. They've got a bunch of really great patterns that are on my list to stitch that's ever growing. And that's okay. Yeah, I think that's all the haul I've got, because I shared sort of my fabric of the months last time, so I don't have anything new there. And yeah, I've just kind of been stitching on what I've got, so I don't have anything else to share with haul. But thank you so much for tuning in, and really appreciate all your support and all the love of the channel. I hope you're really enjoying it. I hope you got a lot of stitching done during this video. So keep running if you're a runner, and always keep stitching, and be kind to anyone you meet on your journey. Bye for now, until the next stitch.